welcome to Asian Pulse Television. I'm your host, Chantel Chand. Thank you for tuning in to your informative and educational network. We are broadcasting from the unceded territories of the Semiahmoo, Katzie, Kwantlen, and Musqueam Nation. We are grateful for the first peoples of this land. Happy Mother's Day to all our moms, sisters, grandmothers, and any members of your family that you treat like a mother. Mother's Day takes place on the second Sunday in May each year, so on May 12th this year. It's a day to celebrate. There's many ways to celebrate our mothers, as simple as taking them out for dinner. At least one of the days of the year, they can stay away from the kitchen. If you plan to take them out for breakfast, brunch, or even dinner, make sure you make reservations, as restaurants get packed really quickly. Happy Mother's Day from our team at Asian Pulse TV to all of you out there. It's time for a short break. I'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं यानी विक प्रसाद को। मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं।
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invis Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
United Pallets and Crates is located at 11585 134th Street in Surrey, BC. Give Sam Dooler a call
At 604-760-2028.
or call the office number at 604-634-2001. You can also visit the website, which is www.unitedpalletsandcrates.com, or send us email at info@palletsandcrates.com.
Thank you, sponsors. If you would like to be a sponsor and provide sponsorship to any segment of this show, get in touch with Camila by calling the number 604-537-5123.
Hello and welcome to Asian Pulse. Yes, my guest today is Avalon Tunia, and she is the support and coordinator, education coordinator for the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia. She's here because the Alzheimer's work is coming up end of this month. So we are here to talk about that. Thank you, Avalon, for coming in. You have been here before. You're looking great. And you just said that you celebrated your 25 years with Alzheimer's Society.
I did, and thank you very much for inviting me today, Camilla.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's so nice to have you support the Alzheimer's Society of BC.
So for many years you were a volunteer with this organization.
I was. I began volunteering when my mother had Alzheimer's disease and continued on and then became a staff member later.
Okay. So, and now you are a paid staff in there. So talk about what did you witness when your mother was going through and how long did she had it?
Oh, my mom had Alzheimer's disease for 14 years.
Okay.
She passed away from Alzheimer's. She was only 64 when she was diagnosed, and we had it diagnosed quite early, actually. We just experienced a lot of mild memory loss, forgetfulness, sometimes some mood changes, though. Sometimes she was a bit sensitive when I wouldn't expect it. She was getting lost a bit when she was driving, those kind of things, forgetting her medications. So that's when I reached out to the Alzheimer's Society to get some help myself, and so I could help her and support her the best way I could and get some education and learn as much as I could about dementia.
Mm-hmm. So those people that are watching you at home today, if they think their elderly parents are like how you described your mom, that she used to be forgetful and sometimes she doesn't remember, sometimes if she's driving, she will miss her exit or whatever. What are some of the signs that they should be watching for?
Well, those are some of the signs, as well as things like increased anxiety, and not just forgetting, where you put your keys to the house, that kind of thing, but forgetting maybe what your keys are for, constantly forgetting your keys and misplacing them, misplacing other things as well, sometimes putting, the ice cream in the cupboard. But like I say, those mood changes too with the increased anxiety. And forgetting conversations. Like often people will forget, especially if they talk to a lot of people, they might forget a conversation from, a couple of months ago, and you think, oh, was that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? But people with dementia will often forget recent conversations. You just talked to them this morning about something, and maybe something that was quite important, and then they go on to say, oh, when's our granddaughter's birthday? I thought it was coming up. You were going to tell me. Well, we just talked about it this morning. So it's more than just mild forgetfulness. And as I say, there's the mood changes as well, personality changes and anxiety, and some mild coordination changes as well. We go through a lot of that in our education classes, but also if people call our First Link Dementia Helpline, that's that 1-800-936-6033, which is open weekdays from 9 in the morning till 8 p.m., so it has really good hours to be able to support people. And they can phone there too and get a list of a lot of the early symptoms. And also they can give the people a list and some information they can take with them when they go to a doctor and say, these are the kinds of things I am seeing. What do you think? And that will help them with that appointment when they go to talk to the doctor about the changes that they see when they bring their parent.
So if somebody is like that, and I know a few elderly people in my family too, should we discuss that to the doctor first, or should we call this hotline or a crisis line or whatever, information line, to see and talk about this is what is happening with my aunt or my mom, and then get that information, and once you are with the doctor's office, you know what you're talking about, and ask direct question to the doctor. Do you think it's dementia? Do you think it's Alzheimer's? Do you think is there any test to do to find out function of your brain?
Right. I think it is a really good idea to phone that First Link Dementia Helpline first, unless, of course, something like safety is an issue. Then you just want to get to the doctor as quickly as possible. And a lot of times nowadays, as you know, it takes a long time to get an appointment. You don't get in right away, so you could call for that appointment and then call the First Link Dementia Helpline so they could help you prepare for that appointment and have some information. We always suggest people journal and write down some things about what happened. It's always hard to do that after the fact, but sometimes just, once a week even write down, Monday we thought we saw this, and Wednesday Mom was out walking the dog and got lost, those kind of things, so that you have that information when you go see the doctor, but you're also prepared with some other information that the First Link Dementia Helpline has given you.
Do you know what the doctor might say?
He'd certainly provide a lot of testing.
Okay.
They do a lot of testing, certainly blood testing as well, because there's many, many other diseases that people could have that's causing memory loss. We certainly don't want to automatically assume, particularly when someone's older, we don't want to assume that it's definitely dementia. We're not doctors, so we want to be prepared with that information. He'll run a lot of tests, and it's basically a lot of process of elimination. They will often do a CT scan, which isn't a definite diagnosis either, but it will show whether there's a pronounced atrophy. It will show whether there's brain tumors or whether there's been strokes, so that they can find out more specifically what type of dementia is. So maybe it's something like a vascular dementia where their strokes have happened. And again, the society can provide information on that specifically as well. But the doctor will find out if there's something else that perhaps is reversible that's causing that memory loss.
Talking about that, can it be reversed?
No, unfortunately, there's no cure.
Yeah.
There are medications out now for treatment. They certainly aren't a cure either. But what they do is kind of help people keep at the same level longer. So people sort of stabilize and stay at the same level longer before we see that drop. Now that's if the medication works for them, because it doesn't work for everyone. It seems to be about 70% of the people that it works for. The other 30%, it isn't necessarily that it's not effective, but it could be that they can't tolerate, or maybe there's other medications that interact, so there's other things involved. And your doctor will help guide you with that. Some people will go to a neurologist or will go to some place like the UBC Brain Center and get referred to that by their GP. Some doctors will also refer people to something like the senior specialized clinics, which we have a lot of those in the Lower Mainland. And that's where they see geriatricians who diagnose and help a lot of people who have dementia, as well as still seeing your GP regularly.
Is there any certain age that your brain starts slowing down, or you start getting forgetful, or dementia hits?
You have a higher risk of developing dementia, certainly when you're 65, but that doesn't mean you're automatically going to get dementia. We know people that live to be up to 100 that never develop dementia.
Yeah.
But the same as heart attack or stroke, those kind of things, your risk does increase with age. But again, it's not normal aging, so that doesn't mean you're automatically going to develop dementia just because you're older. We certainly see younger people as well. I met someone who was 31 who had Lewy body dementia. I've met people in their 40s as well, several people actually in their 40s who've had dementia. So it is more rare, but it does happen. It's about 5% of all the cases, around 5% of people who develop a familial type of dementia that they will get when they're older. I'm sorry, younger, I mean. Unfortunately. It's of course, hard for families to see anyone go through it. It's especially hard when people are younger. The Alzheimer's Society has some great information as well on what we call young onset. And we even have support groups that are specifically for people who are caregivers or care partners of people who have young onset. We have support groups as well for the people themselves who are diagnosed with dementia. And it's so great for those people because they learn from each other, they share their stories, and they find out that they're not alone. They're not the only ones who feel that way.
So do you have support groups in every province, every city?
Well, the Alzheimer's Society of BC, so we have them in many cities all over the province. Some people do need to travel a little bit, but certainly we have virtual ones as well. So we have something called Coffee and Chat, which a lot of people who are diagnosed enjoy, and it's more or less just a chat group rather than necessarily an early stage support group, but we also have those. And we have them in person in certain areas. We certainly have one in Surrey and Chilliwack and Vancouver, a lot of different areas, but Maple Ridge as well. But as I mentioned, we have them virtually too.
Do you know how many people are diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's? Or how many people will be in their lifetime?
Yeah, that's a great question. In British Columbia, we have over 85,000 people that are diagnosed with some form of dementia. By the year 2050, that number is expected to almost triple, which is going to be a lot of people who will be developing dementia. And of course, there are still people out there who haven't been diagnosed yet as well. So.
Yeah, that's alarming. It's a huge number.
It is.
I mean, we are 2024, and next less than 20 years, then the number's going to be triple. 80 times 3, about over 250,000 people.
That's huge.
It's a huge number.
That's
and
right.
there's no cure. How can you keep your brain healthy?
We have a workshop actually called The Healthy Brain, and a lot of people really benefit from that a lot. So we can't say we can prevent dementia in any way, but we can certainly help reduce our risk for developing dementia, the same as heart attack and stroke. And it is quite similar, the things we can do. We want to exercise regularly, drink lots of water, eat healthy, of course, plenty of antioxidants, and as I mentioned, our workshop does describe a lot of those different things. And also we have those workshops, by the way, recorded. So if you can't join them virtually or in person, you can watch them. They're called videos on demand, and you can watch them later. But it also goes into how to, keeping your brain active. Certainly something we didn't realize many years ago is that social interaction is very, very important. People that are socially isolated tend to be higher risk for developing dementia. And of course, protect your head. We want to make sure we keep down our risks for falls and head injuries, those types of things. So, even getting an occupational therapist in, particularly when people are older, or if they could be younger too and have any mobility issues, you can get an occupational therapist to come in often through the health authority, and they'll give you some suggestions for how to make your home safer.
Yeah, so that you don't slip and fall.
Yes, and reduce that risk for getting a head injury, which makes you a higher risk, certainly for dementia. So does things like diabetes as well. So watching your diet, and if you do have diabetes, take your medications regularly, check your blood glucose levels regularly, and keep in touch with your doctor too. Same with blood pressure.
Is it hereditary?
No, certainly with the case I mentioned where people are much younger, that familial type, that 5%, there's a strong genetic link to that, and that means people have a much higher risk of developing it. I think it's close to about 50%, but certainly we have that information on our website as well. But for the regular population, it's a lot of other risk factors that give people, make people at a higher risk for developing some type of dementia, really. So all of the different things that you'll learn in the Healthy Brain or read on our website, those are the things that increase your risk. Certainly, we do know that there can be some genetic link sometimes when people are older, but we really don't know how important that is.
Yeah.
We do know that women are a higher risk for developing dementia. Now, part of that is because age is, you're not automatically going to get it with age, but it is a risk factor, and women tend to live longer. But that doesn't totally explain why, so we don't know why, but women are at a little higher risk
of getting
dementia.
Do you know if you have head injuries and all that is more prone for dementia? If you, as a child, if you're hit in the head or fell down or brain injury, head injury, do you think there's a higher risk of in older age?
The studies do say that there is a higher risk of developing dementia with head injuries, particularly a lot of concussions, and particularly concussions where there's loss of consciousness as well. So always see your doctor if you've hit your head and follow up, see if there's things you can do to rest up afterwards and care that he'd like you to do after a head injury that might help protect your brain somewhat. But certainly, yes, head injuries do put people at a higher risk.
Okay. Even if you're better, you are working, going back to work and all that. But I think just because you have head injuries, it's always wiser to go to check with your neurologist or a doctor.
It is, because like I say, sometimes people have certain follow-up. I've known people who have had injuries and they're told, stay home from work and rest for a while and don't do any, really excessive exercise. So, the doctor can help guide people with follow-up after those head injuries.
Or exercise or something. So let's talk about the fundraising, the work for dementia or Alzheimer's, work for Alzheimer's. And how long is this work been taking place?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm afraid I can't answer that.
Okay,
it's been going on many years.
But many years.
I've been with the Society 25 years, and it was going on even before that.
Okay.
It was called by a different name, but when I was a volunteer, we also had a walk called the Longest Day Walk. But it is our biggest fundraiser of the year that we do, and it helps raise funds to create awareness, of course, but to provide programs and services for people living with dementia, as well as their families.
Yeah.
And also it enables research for causes and cures for dementia. And it is called our IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's, presented by Go Auto.
Okay.
But we do have one this year
go ahead.
I was going to say, it will be in over 20 places this year, and cities and towns across British Columbia. The one that we have locally here is going to be at 10:30 down near the museum at the waterfront in White Rock. It's for all of Surrey as well as White Rock. And we hope to get a really great crowd, so we hope you'll come out and support us. If you can't come that day, certainly we have things called Walk in a Box, and if you phone that number again, they will refer you to someone who can help you perhaps put on a walk in your own community or even at the office where you work in a smaller walk that you can do. A lot of people will just pick any day in May and do a smaller walk and raise funds.
Yeah. So do you have in different cities like Vancouver and Burnaby, and you said Maple Ridge or Prince George? I think different cities, is it all happening in the same month of May?
It is all happening on the 26th.
Okay.
Not necessarily the same time of day.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's on Facebook as well, but again, you can phone that number and get information regarding your area and what time it does take place. But it is on social media a lot.
Yeah.
And all of it will be on Sunday, May 26th.
Yeah. But start at White Rock is 10:30.
That's right.
And
10:30
goes
a.m.
until when?
Well, we do a little bit of presentations first, and there's always an honoree for every walk.
Okay.
So we talk about that individual, and this year it's someone who's volunteered for many years for the Alzheimer's Society, as well as been a very compassionate, caring caregiver who's taken a lot of our education and is often supporting people in her community and referring them to the Alzheimer's Society. So it usually is about an hour and a half long to 2 hours at the most. And everyone walks whatever distance they're comfortable with. You know, some people will only walk a few feet. Some people come and they have a walker and they just walk as far as they can and they turn around and come back, and that's great. Or some people will just sit on a chair and come to enjoy the speeches and meeting other people, and that's fine too. If you can't walk, that's great. We just love to see you come out and support us.
Yeah. And especially it says, who are you working for? Even if your grandmother had dementia or Alzheimer's, or you lost your partner with that, just you are working for somebody so that one day they find a cure and nobody has to live with that.
Exactly, yeah. We're all walking for whoever we know that's been
Yeah.
affected by dementia.
Right.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are diagnosed with dementia are out joining the walk as well. We see many families that come back several years in a row and bring their person who has been diagnosed with them too.
And they are bringing the young families too, the kids and all that, so at least they know what it's all about or who they're working for.
That's right.
If there's a grandma or there is somebody in the family. Is there 1-800 number that people, they are listening to you talk today, that want to get more information, or is this the number then?
There is. It is the
It's a local
1-800
number.
Yes, that one is that
Direct.
one was my personal one I had just given you. But yes, there is that one that is open weekdays from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. And that's 1-800-936-6033. And people are usually able to, you know, they're often on the line with someone else, but they're often able to get back to you that same day, even if you have to leave a message. But they'll get some great help from some experienced and well-trained staff.
Anything else you need to before we wrap up?
I just want to say I hope everyone will come out and support us if they can. And if they can't, that maybe they'll do their own walk in their own area. If they'd like to donate to the walk as well, they can also call that number and find out how to donate. As I mentioned, a lot of the information is on social media as well. But I certainly want to thank you very much, Camilla, for inviting me here today and supporting our walk and our programs and services as you do every year. So thank you so much for what you do.
I try to do it every year because I want people to get involved. Thank you so much for being able to take your lunch hour and be able to come and talk to us and give out this information to our public or the people that are watching you.
No problem. Thank you very much. And don't hesitate to reach out for help. Any question you have, just call us and we should
And
be
you
able to help.
also can make a text. You can also make a donation.
Yes,
Right?
definitely.
Anytime.
We're-
Sometimes you are ill, out of town, may not be able to join on the day, but it's always good to make a donation to the society so that they'll be able to help other people with running support groups, educational seminars, and a lot of other things, right?
That's right. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you. Great idea.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're welcome.
Please have your pen and paper ready to jot down the numbers. Mother's Day is on May 12th. It's a day to honor and show appreciation for mothers, grandmothers, and all the other important women in our lives. Many people celebrate by giving gifts, cards, flowers, and even just spending quality time with their loved ones. So happy Mother's Day to you all. Salem Live in Vancouver, located at Queen Elizabeth Theatre at 600 Hamilton Street in Vancouver. This is taking place on June 30th. Doors open at 6 p.m. For tickets and more information, please contact Camilla at 604-833-1977. The annual Independence Day Brunch and Dance of the Independence Day of the Guyanese Canadian Culture Association of BC is taking place on May 26th from 12 noon until 3 p.m. at South Arm Community Centre, 8880 Williams Road, Richmond, BC. For tickets and more information, please call Sylvia at 778-882-1852, Sabrina at 604-760-2085, or Diana John at 778-862-7009. The Pinnacle Hotel at the Pier is doing a Mother's Day brunch buffet on May 12th at the Pinnacle Ballroom from 11 until 2:30 p.m. Adult tickets are $88 plus taxes, and children's ages 6 to 7 is $41 plus taxes. The address is 138 Victory Ship Way, North Vancouver. If you are organizing any events in your community and want us to promote it for you, please email us at asianpulse@gmail.com. We've run out of time now, and I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I do bringing it to you. If you ever miss our shows, you can always tune in on Shaw Cable every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m., Thursdays at 8:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. All our shows are also broadcasted in Calgary on Channel 10 on Shaw Cable Network and also get uploaded to our YouTube channel under the Camila Singh Shows. Before I leave you, I bring you these thoughts. Do not lower your standards to keep anyone. Make them meet you at your level. Self-respect is power. Author unknown. I'm your host, Chantel Chand. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing all of you next week on the same channel at the same time. Bye for now.
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो, लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं, यानी विक प्रसाद को। मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं।
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invis Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
United Pallets and Crates is located at 11585 134th Street in Surrey, BC. Give Sam Dooler a call at 604-760-2028 or call the office number at 604-634-2001. You can also visit the website, which is www.unitedpalletsandcrates.com, or send us email at info@palletsandcrates.com.